Blue jean baby, LA lady, seems just for the band. Yeah, that's it.
That's more than enough. Thank you so much. Oh, Jackie, that was great. So, Carlito,
Manny,
we have another show, and we have a very special guest at the end of the table.
at the very end of the table.
So, we have Jackie Schagen.
Yeah, that's it. Well, in Canada, yeah.
And in where else would it be?
Well, it's a town in the Netherlands.
Oh.
So we actually went to visit, and they didn't know what we were saying. When you're there, you pronounce it Schagen.
We like being worldly on this show,
Right?
so that's really good. But we'll stick with Schagen.
Yeah, it's a little easier.
Well, Manny gave me the look. He's like, be good.
No, behave, right? We're trying to be a little more professional. So today we're actually going to talk about kitchens and bathrooms, and we're going to get your perspective and you designing and dealing with clients and dealing with us.
Contractors.
So we've got a lot to talk about. But before we get the show going,
I think we have to thank somebody.
we've got to do a shout out to Mark Skylux.
Of course, every single time.
Thank you very much for letting us use Skylux Studios.
And believing in the construction life.
Thank you, Mark, very much. But now we get into the show, and we got this little thing called, what are we talking about? We had a nice, cool name for Cold Book, and we got Green Book.
No, we got that.
What do you want to do for history, for factual?
History.
So a little history about kitchens. I want to ask Jackie, when do you think the first kitchen was invented?
Ooh, but how do you define that?
Well, I guess when you actually start cooking indoors and actually have a space for prepping and cooking.
Am I allowed to play?
Of course you are.
Oh, excellent.
When do you think it was? When the kitchen started and when the first stove? Up until then, everybody was cooking outside.
Yeah, history was not my thing. So I'm going to say sometime in the 1700s.
You're not too far regarding the stove. So 1735 was the first stove, and that was from a French designer, Francois Suviviere. He's the one that first came up with the metal stove, and but then Benjamin Franklin in 1742 designed a stove from coal, and that's where it got started there.
Wow.
But regarding the kitchen, 1802, and guess by whom?
The Italians.
The Germans.
Oh, it was a German.
It was a German
The Germans
inventor.
love their kitchens.
Yeah, Frederick Albert Winson. He prepared the first food in history cooked with gas.
Wow.
That's what he did. And then I'm trying to figure out, there's a little bit more information here. Then they switched over to gas from coal in 1834 because Benjamin Franklin did it in 1742. Coal first, and then 1834 was gas. And then they switched over to electric in the 1920s and 30s.
Wow.
That's how we got the electric oven.
Wicked.
So that was a little bit of
History with Manny.
Now back over to Jackie. And so how do we find you, first of all?
Yeah, I've got a website at jackieschagendesign.ca, Instagram, Jackie Schagen Design, Facebook, Jackie Schagen Design. The nice thing about having a unique name, I'm very easy to find.
It's true. I was about to say that's a lot of shagging.
But
Yeah?
but it's an approachable name. I like it.
It's cool. It's very, very cool. So that's how we get a hold of you. So now it's your show. We want to hear how you got into this crazy business. Obviously, you're a lot younger than we are. We're getting up there in age.
Hey, I will take the compliments as long as they come.
Take them. Trust me.
Over to you, Jackie.
So I've always been super interested in design ever since I was a kid. I think it runs in our blood. My grandfather and his brother, they owned a development company, and they built a lot of the small town that they live in southwestern Ontario. Skipped a generation. My dad worked in framing for a while, but then actually now my brother is a master electrician, and I ended up in the design end. I really wanted to be an architect. Physics, no. Like, just not
I
about
love
it.
it.
And no.
You don't need the physics. That's what you need the engineer buddy for.
Well, I married one of those instead.
Oh, he's an engineer.
He is.
Look at that marriage.
We have arguments about where the structure is in our house on the daily because we actually haven't opened the walls. But it's
going to get to that point, I guess.
That's a whole nother thing.
You're going to start doing discovery holes and try to figure out who's right or wrong.
Oh, yeah. Like, that could end the marriage right there.
I don't think so.
No. That'll be a renovation right there.
Very likely.
Someone's going to have bragging rights, though.
Oh, yeah. That will never end. The math and the physics wasn't about it. So interior design became a very clear path for me. I went to Georgian and Barrie. It's a 3-year program. It's now a 4-year bachelor's.
They got serious?
I guess so. If it was another year, I don't think I would have made it.
I was just about to ask.
Jesus.
Did you really need another year, or were you ready to get on the job site?
I was ready to get out.
Okay.
So no one would hire you out of school without any experience. So I ended up working at the building store. And they plunk you in. Oh, you know design. Here, you can work in kitchens. And I loved it. So I worked from the building store. I moved to a custom manufacturer in the south end of Ottawa. And that's where I got a great deal of education because the shop was actually on the property. So if I designed something that wasn't super feasible, I was going to hear it. And they were going to walk me back and say, Jackie, how are we going to do this? And I'm, okay. All right, let's make a plan together. So I was kept humble really early, and I've kind of kept that along the way. It's really important that for me, that the designer and the contractor are partners in this, or the fabricator. Like, everybody's important. Yeah, I've worked from that manufacturing company. I moved to a company that did the full reno because I want, gradually take more and more control or have more influence really on what can be done. We ended up moving to the GTA, bounced around a little bit, started my own company, and I'm now able to help a broader spectrum of clients.
So how long ago was this that you actually, the first day on the job site that you got started from school?
15 years ago.
15 years in the construction industry.
Yeah.
So 15 years, it's changed.
Yeah.
Especially kitchens and bathrooms, they've changed dramatically in 15 years.
They have, yes and no. I mean, it's still boxes.
Yeah.
It's still going to go in. There's still the function that is primary, but the technology is always changing. The style that clients are wanting, like their wish list is changing. The basics of it, not as much.
Where are clients getting their initial ideas when they sit down with you? Because I've always had that joke about, this is our budget.
Right.
I understand that you gave me a quote. It doesn't line up with our budget. Mm-hmm. And then I ask them, where'd you get your number from? And they say, well, that's what we're allowed to get from the bank, or this is what we have saved up.
That varies.
It does?
Sorry, you're asking about the money? Or
no,
the,
so
I just,
where do they start? Where do the clients start with you? Like, how do they sit down? Do they just start with, okay, we want to do a kitchen. I guess some clients are savvy enough to understand that that's the most expensive room in the home.
I think everybody knows that. I think that's pretty safe.
Okay, all right. They don't play a dumb card, and they go, we want this, we want that. We don't know if it's really expensive.
Sometimes, but I find it's usually coming from a place of genuine lack of knowledge. So and I'd like to stay pretty approachable. So if there's something they're like, we're not sure about this, I'm like, that's cool. There's no reason for you to know this. You've never done it before.
No right
I've done this a lot of times, so I can help you through it. I lost the question again.
No, it's fine. So the clients, where do they begin when they meet you, when they come up to you and they've actually had enough sit downs in their existing kitchen and said, honey, it's time to change this builder
How do
grade.
I start with the client?
How do you start? How do you throw that ball down the hallway and just like, okay, this is what we're going to do?
I go to their house and I basically let them talk until they've said everything that they have, because they've been thinking about this for the last 10 years, and they've got pictures that they've cut out of magazines and Pinterest and House and everything, and they're going to tell you everything. I just have to listen, write it down, take notes, and then figure out what they haven't talked about, and then come back to something. Okay, you talked about this, but you also talked about this, and kind of just start to mold it into a rough shape so that we can start to kind of hone that down.
Are people designing or asking you to design kitchens that look prettier than work? Prettier? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know one person in particular in the industry, and she doesn't cook. Yeah. She doesn't cook. But she's got a beautiful kitchen.
Right.
Beautiful, stunning.
I've done
magazine.
Like phenomenal kitchens
Gorgeous.
that I know are only going to be used by staff. Or caterers coming
No,
in.
they're not that wealthy. And so it baffles my mind to see a beautiful non-functioning kitchen. It just baffles my mind.
I think that the client will come to it in that direction, and that's okay, because that's what their visual goals are, and that's their house aspirations. But my job is to make sure that the rest of those bases are covered. If I didn't do that, I didn't do my job.
Very true. That's true.
It is true.
They come in, they tell you about everything. They bring up my two favorite websites, Pinterest and House. Mm-hmm. And then you...
Are they actually your favorite?
I'm being facetious. And I like that you said, then you start listening to what they didn't say. Mm-hmm. and you start figuring out what they really want at that point. Is it more difficult to design for a family versus a couple?
Not really, no. I don't think so.
Does the family get involved? Do the children get involved regarding what they want?
Every circumstance is fully custom and unique. No one has the same process of doing anything. It's like grocery shopping. We all have a different way of putting the list together. Like everyone has a different planning process. I have some clients that I've met with only 3 or 4 times, never met the husband, did a huge job. Other jobs where I had a client we met with for 2.5 years and she couldn't make decisions.
Wow.
So everyone's decision-making process is so vastly different that I just have to be the chameleon and kind of help facilitate being comfortable with the decisions they're making to move on to the next one.
How many visits does it take until you realize they're wasting your time?
Are they ever really wasting your time?
They're not, because they're paying for my time.
Oh.
It's a good point.
We should get to that.
But as a contractor, we don't necessarily get paid the same way that you get paid.
I don't do anything more than like a 15-minute phone call for free.
That's
Wow.
smart.
My entire value is in my ideas and experience. I don't give that away.
Not that many contractors do that, though.
It's changing, though. It's turning. I
Oh,
know.
you see it? Yeah.
I see it. Like 30% of the contractors that I see in my area are charging for their full-blown quote.
They should.
We've talked about this. I do. Like I'll visit you the first time,
Right.
spend an hour or two, get
Yep.
to know you, give you a rough
Ballpark.
estimate.
Yeah.
And then when you ask for the breakdown, I'll just say, well, that'll be $500 and you can take it with the next contractor or I can take it off the cost.
That's right.
It's only fair.
Well, yeah, well, because you don't know who's wasting your time. I mean, with you, no one's going to waste their time. They've already made that decision that they're investing money and they don't want to lose it.
You'd think so. But I mean, it's the same with like, why would they waste their time to meet with the contractor if they're not serious either?
2 or 3 different prices. They're always pricing. Like they're looking for a cheaper price. They're trying to see how much they can get away with, what they can learn from a couple of guys until they find someone they're comfortable with.
How do you deal with that lower pricing aspect of the business? I've had those meetings before where you got clients, well, listen, can we get the carcasses from IKEA? But can you make these magical door faces to make them look luxurious? Like, it's not really like that, right?
Well, no, but this is good. Yeah. What do
Yeah.
you think of the whole IKEA thing?
I've taken a really organic way of stepping back. If I have someone who really can only afford IKEA, I still rather have them hire me. So we sit down for 2 hours. I can make sure they've planned out the best IKEA kitchen it can be.
Wow.
And
I
they
agree
can do that.
completely. It's true.
I don't want to set a monetary boundary on when people can hire design. I think that's one of the big barriers with my profession is that, oh no, we don't need design. We don't need a designer. That's for the rich people. No, man, you need my help.
I think every client needs a designer. They're not in the profession, and I don't think there's enough information on the web or on TV or in publication to justify them saying that they're designers.
Well, I know that you guys are really big fans of HGTV. And
I
they
definitely
Hang on a second.
They do a really
there's
good-
a line. There's a line down the table here.
Yeah. I am.
He has his opinion about those 4 letters. I have
hate
my
it with
opinion.
a passion of 1,000 suns.
Oh, wow.
And especially the way they present designers as useless, pretty.
Oh, are we talking about designers right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they designers, though? Do they just put the title on and say they're designers?
That's a whole other thing.
That's right. It's the magic of
I'm
TV.
going to be quiet. I've been vocal about this already. So
I think it's disappointing that it's cheapened both the contractors and the designer's role. You know, something that's one of the most expensive things I'll ever invest in.
yeah.
It's true.
Why don't they just make it real? I don't understand why they just don't make it real. Like what
Why
we
don't you
really-
make it real? You do it.
God, it's-
Well, because a lot of
I'm working on climbing that mountain. That's what it is. But we won't. That's not what this show's all about. Completely agree with you. If the clients are up front and they start, listen, we want to do an IKEA kitchen. If they're totally up front with that, it's great. But if they start the conversation with like, oh, we want a luxurious, custom, this, that, all this other stuff, and then they're like, see the number, and then the numbers start going up, and then all of a sudden they go, well, can we do the carcasses in IKEA? That's where I get a little bit upset. Right?
I get really brutal with the budget really quickly.
Do you really?
Because I said, you know, I'm not judging the money you want to spend. I'm a consumer. Just be straight with what you want to do, and I will help you invest that money the best way you can. I'll show you upgrades along the way, and then you can decide the pros and cons or whether it's worth your upgrade, but it's up to you.
That's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what they need to understand, that that's why you're doing that.
I'm there to help so that they don't make the mistakes that I've made over the last 15 years and won't repeat.
It always comes down to, because they're trying to save a little bit of money right now, what are the repercussions of it when they're selling or someone else is viewing it after a few years?
You bring up a good
by?
point there, because I know Carlito's big on resale. I don't know why, but he's big on resale and not to get so committed to a renovation in a house. How do you feel about that?
I actually just did my Trade Tip Tuesday on this week.
Ooh.
I believe that if you're going to be in your home for more than 5 years, do what you want.
5? I used to say 10.
No, it's faster than that now. I mean, unless you're going to put in like a purple kitchen.
That's crazy.
You know, like
It's very personal.
If you're going to be in, you know, the average genre of material, you really can't screw it up that badly. If you're going to be there, do it for you, that you're going to enjoy it.
But saying that, you can put that purple kitchen in, but when you sell, expect $15,000 or $40,000 to come off the value, because the next person's going to want to spend that on the kitchen. They don't want to pay for that.
Totally. I haven't met anyone who wanted to do a purple kitchen yet.
I did a bathroom one time with a purple slab. He was Russian.
Did it look nice?
It was a purple. No, I didn't photograph it. I just couldn't photograph it.
There's a lot of jobs that I haven't photographed.
It was 2 slabs. It was a corner shower. It was full slabs on both sides. Purple. It was a specific slab. It was purple.
You know, it's funny you say that, because just recently I'm not taking pictures of any of my jobs, and everyone's like, why aren't you posting anything? And I'm like, I'm repairing things. I'm getting people back into their lives, but I'm not proud of, I shouldn't say I'm not proud of it. It's just, there's nothing that really catches your eye. It's just so basic and cookie cutter, you know?
Well, I actually kind of use that as a selling feature of the way that I work. I don't tell clients what to do. I educate them about the options. I tell them I don't even have to like it, but if you love it, then I've done my job.
That's right.
This is not my ego project. This is your home.
I've said that. I've said I don't live here. I live here for the time that's being renovated, but I don't live here. You guys are going to live here. It doesn't matter how crazy you want to do something, but
I will advise you and give you the pros and cons, and I'll give you my opinion, but you make the choices because you're writing the checks.
Unfortunately, like Manny, I like all the things he doesn't like, Pinterest and so on.
How do you like that?
Well, you know what? There's ideas there, and a lot of people don't have a vision. They're not in this industry, so they don't get to see all the unique, eccentric things we get to see, or glamorous, you know, little things that make a difference, like color or, you know, sparkly handles or whatever it may be. Pictures go a long way, and then I can start to kind of figure out what kind of person they are, and then I also get to figure out their budget.
I work the same way. I encourage them. I'm like, you have homework to do. The both, like husband and wife, you have to go and pick 3 pictures that you both like. And then we're going to go and figure out why. And like, yeah, if you've got a board with 40 things on it on Pinterest, that's awesome, because then I know that you have thought about this and I'm just not telling you what to do. I want to see that you're invested in this.
I get nervous if there's 40 things and like one's purple, one's blue, one's white.
Oh yeah, but that's good to know too.
If they're all in the
because
same family, then I'm a little happier.
Tool as well. If they're all in the same family, I know that they're on the right path. If they're all over the place, I'm like, okay, we need to step back. You're not. You don't even know what you want.
No, that is a good point. You get to figure out what kind of colors they like that way. The things that happen more often is what they really want, right?
That's right.
How safe are people getting these days with kitchens? Are we still living in Shakerland? Are we still living in Calcutta? Are we still living? Anybody getting bold?
It's coming.
So what are we hearing?
It's not quite there.
We're hearing some people are taking a risk.
I'm seeing the strong trend of the Scandinavian style right now, where you've got like the white oaks and the rift cut, and you've got all that, the black and the white, the really crisp style is coming. Now, where that translates into kitchens, it still works with a white shaker, which is safe.
But you said shaker.
It's not mine. I brought it up already. It's not my kitchen.
That's probably still is the most popular because it is safe and it is so transitional. It's not going to date. If you want to change the rest of your whole house, if you want to change your countertop, your backsplash, everything else, you can make that look totally different without having to redo your whole kitchen.
I'd like to get your point of view. I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing white baseboards and white doors, and I'm just so sick of white. You know, I'm looking for dark colors, solid baseboards with the same color of the door and the same color as the wall. Yeah. Really, really dark.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's me just being in the industry for so long that I'm looking for something different, but I like warm. So
what was that question?
No, just about the whole white. Is it cheap? Is it just people aren't looking outside the box anymore?
I think it really just depends on the client and what their aesthetic is. Like most people aren't looking as in depth at style and design as someone in the industry. I've seen a couple trends where the baseboard is painted the same as the whole wall and the same as the ceiling and the doors, and it just looks, when you've got the heavy moldings and it's all in the same lacquer, like it's just gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's just stunning.
Yes.
But there aren't a lot of people who are ready for that. So I mean, we're looking at what's happening in Europe. I follow a lot of European accounts on Instagram, and they're on it. And they're doing really, really cool. And we're going to see it come here in the next 5 to 10. Because it just takes a long time for people to see it enough to want it and realize that it's going to happen.
When you say European, does that mean like blues, purples, reds, yellows, like really bright?
I don't think so. I think
I've always like in the past, European touches have always been very aggressive in color.
They're not anymore. Now they're more refined. It's a little bit, how do I describe it? Like you've got the kind of the French farmhouse happening with really interesting hardware, like exposed hinges, like doing more intricate detail, or like that Scandinavian look where things are super clean and really, really matte and using stone on cabinetry, like all kinds of really cool stuff.
Stone on cabinetry.
That was like 5-6 years ago, but it never really took off here. The porcelain slabs
coming, but it's slow.
I
don't love it.
It wasn't perfected here yet, and my major problem with that little detail was the edging. I hated the edging, and my first thought as a user is that this is really easy to chip the corner, and if I chip this corner, it's porcelain. You cannot repair this. If it's wood, you can repair this, right?
Yep.
But back to like the kitchen styles, you know what I've been doing lately, because I'm still a film person. I can't stand most of the movies that are made today, but what I've been enjoying is watching a lot of the older movies and paying attention to the kitchens and bathrooms in those older movies, and start paying attention to what they used to do, because they would have, like, if you watch The Godfather, it was a 1940s kitchen set up there.
Oh,
it was a farm.
Incredible.
You're gonna make me watch that now. You know that, right?
But the thing is, it's like it's a rustic stone. It was all granite backsplash kind of thing. It was a farm sink, apron. You know, and like it, we don't have the rights for that. But yeah, that's what you can do, and it's the same way that if you start watching other European films, you're going to start noticing those trends. And you're right, they are coming to North America. Unfortunately, Canada takes its lead by the US, and I'm not dissing the US, but the thing is, I do the same thing. I follow lots of accounts outside. Like I was just talking this morning to a guy from Finland, right? And I'm paying attention to what they're doing, and they build like little sheds that are saunas, man, right on the lake, man, like 5x5. And they're out of pine, and they're beautiful with whitewash, clean.
Not cedar?
Not cedar, pine.
Wow.
And they're beautiful, man. And they just park them right there, and that's how they live, and they're happy about it. But you can never envision that here. So I love paying attention to what's going on there, Australia, what's going on in Asia. I love seeing what they're doing regarding all the design and things like that.
And it'll filter its way here. It'll change and get the local flavor. But to see what's coming, the finishes, the engineered materials, like, there's so much coming that's so exciting.
There's lots of thought put behind it instead of just mass produce, get it out there, and if it fails, it fails, right?
Well, you know, you're right about that. Even Schluter's been around for like 50 years.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been in Canada or the United States for like
20,
it has been for the last 30
years.
Yeah. And it's like I go to Vegas and I go spend like 10 grand on clothing. I come back here and people are like, "What are you wearing?" And I'm like, "You'll see in 5 years."
Liberace
what are
had
you,
a
the
sale?
new Tiger King? Like,
10 grand on Vegas attire?
When I shop, I shop.
How many jumpsuits can you get for 10 grand, man?
Hey, you know what? I got a FUBU suit right now. It's worth $1,200.
What else in the kitchen? Before we get into bathrooms, what else we want to talk about in kitchens there?
what do you want to ask about?
I don't know. I'm just curious about it.
Let's talk about those materials, because I think that's what's happening. That's what's coming. That's really interesting. Like we've seen the lacquer, we've seen the wood stain. Like that's what we've had forever, and we've had the melamines, but they weren't nice.
No.
There was a sample I got my hands on last year. It was a new engineered laminate. Oh, that's what they're calling it. But like it was so nice that I actually put it away with the wood doors because I thought it was a walnut.
Wow.
It looked that good, huh?
It was that good.
Wow.
Like that's what I will put in my own house instead of the real, because my people are not careful with my shit. And it's going to stand up way better. It's half the price. It looks just as good and is twice as durable. Like, why am I not going to use this?
What do you think about edging? I haven't met anybody who wants to do an OG.
And explain an OG.
Well, sorry, the edge profile of a countertop. I think
I haven't done one of those in like 12 years.
I've never done one in my life,
Yeah.
right? I just don't. I look at it, I'm like, great. I don't have a pearl piano and I don't have a chauffeur, so I don't really need that, right? Most people have been straight yet.
Yeah.
You're the one with the jumpsuits.
I say,
Are they liking? I actually saw something. I think 2-3 years ago, maybe in Vegas. There, the reverse bevel.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that when you were talking about like coming later a little further and coming in on an angle, or like a stack below, like getting the fabricators to do some different stuff, and some of the different materials are asking for that too. So it kind of is a natural progression.
Are you a man-made material person or a natural stone? Because I recently saw a study. Well, I didn't see a study. I actually did the study. and it persuaded me to go back to natural stones when I did this study. That will never see the light of day, by the way, because it didn't really work in the favor of whoever asked me to do the study. So that's as much information I'm going to shut up, okay? That's it. Not going to say anything more. But I actually do love my naturals, even though I guess the biggest concern right off the bat, which I think comes from women client more than men client, is what are we going to do when we spill wine? What are we going to do when we spill coffee? What are we going to do? Clean it. Aren't you going to do that? Is that what you're supposed to do?
I think it just depends on the client. Like most people want their stuff staying looking as new as possible for as long as possible.
for sure.
So that's why I'm generally a fan of a lot of the engineers. Just because I don't want the client coming back to me in 3 years and they're mad because I helped them pick this beautiful stone and now it's ruined and they spent, 60 grand on this. I don't want to open myself to that headache. So I will educate that the physical properties of the quartz versus the granite are almost the same. You're going to care for them the same. I actually don't care which one you pick. Pick the stone that you love and that works with what you want. If I have a client who wants to go with marble, awesome, but I'm going to make you sign a waiver.
Of course.
Because I'm not going to be responsible for how you're going to care for that, or what iron deposit's going to show up in your shower in 3 years. Like I don't want any part of that.
Fair enough.
It's true.
There are people that can repair that kind of stuff and rebuff it and polish it and pull stains out. So, as long as you're willing to pay for as long as the customer is educated that there's a higher maintenance and they're aware of that.
It's not just the education. I want them to sign off because no one remembers every conversation we had about everything.
You're totally right. It's like a contract.
What are you talking about?
It's like a contract. The contract should state, if it's not in this contract, you're not getting it.
Yep. So I will happily go and we'll pick the most exotic marble we can find, and that's awesome, and this will be incredible. But you're going to understand, and you're going to sign that you understand, and then we're full tilt. Let's go.
What is your thought process when a client makes a change? Like just give me the bare bones basic how you go about it. So you're on site, something's supposed to be done, then they make a change, they put their hand up. Jackie, I've got a change to make. How do we do that? How do you handle it?
That's a broad question when it would be a really certain circumstance that.
Oh, you mean the actual detail? Or like
and it depends on the client, how the job is going. Like there's so many different things.
So if it's a simple change, you don't care, you just move on, take care of it. But if it's a dramatic change where it costs 4 figures, then you'll start the paperwork process?
If it's a simple change, I'm still going to make paperwork.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Because you know what?
Because they've signed off on, like, I have extensive contracts. Like you've signed off on every finish, every handle, every faucet.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Because we've looked at so many things that neither of us is going to remember. So let's be really cautious. And you're going to have a copy. The contractor's going to have a copy. I have a copy. Like we're all working towards the common goal. This is not about catching anyone. This is about making sure that we're going to get what we all intended.
Not only that, but you could have a conversation with 10 people about the same thing and forget that it wasn't you that you had that conversation with.
Absolutely.
Can we break it down to blue collar, white collar, very rich? Let's start with the stone. Like we're talking about countertops right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you categorize all the different types of material?
Within any of the solid surfaces, like the granite's got a range of that blue color to,
They do.
the 1%. And quartz is not that far off. They've got some,
I've seen quartz slabs as cheap as $600, and not from China, but $600.
Yeah, a lot of the manufacturers have like these special programs they're putting together. So these 6 colors are like a crazy deal. It's almost the same price as laminate.
Yeah.
Laminate?
Yeah, man.
I haven't heard that one in a long time.
Right? The quartz manufacturers, each of them price differently, but they have so many price groups that basically the more complex the pattern, the more it's going to cost you. I will usually start somewhere in the middle if that's going to fit the client's budget, and then let them see everything and then educate them about how that's affecting their budget.
When it comes to quartz, I usually try to recommend it to blue collar, white collar people. Mm-hmm. and anyone that has kids. I don't really choose marble for anyone in those categories unless they're single or like they don't have any kids. Then I find that marble is something you won't hear about in the future unless someone else is coming and saying, can you do the same thing you did at their place at mine? And I'll say, do you have kids? And they'll say, yes. And I'll say, no. But I have quartz for you that looks just as good.
That's it. Once I tell someone, I'm like, okay, this is going to look the same, but you don't have any of the concerns. They're usually like, oh, yes, thank you. Like, that's what we actually wanted. I love marble. It's stunning. It's anything that the earth made is not truly replicable, but I'm only going to recommend marble for vertical surfaces.
I got a question for you, something we haven't talked about yet, and it's becoming very big in the industry. Live edge on counters. How do you feel about that?
On wood, I think it's super trendy. I think that it's not comfortable to lean on or to use or anything. I think it's going to trend out real quick. In terms of stone, you don't want to lean against something rough. It's going to ruin your clothes. No, not about it.
I'm in agreement. I think live edge is going to make its way out. Sorry, guys, we're making live edge.
Yeah, I like live edge in bathrooms.
In bathrooms?
Yeah. I'm doing one right now, Manny. I'm going to show you later on the picture. I'm going to post
live
this
edge
one.
Wood?
Live edge wood.
In a bathroom?
In a bathroom. I can't wait to show this on Instagram and Facebook. It's really cool.
Okay, coolio.
I want to see this.
Yeah.
On that note, can we just segue over to...
Well, we were in kitchens. I really want to talk a little bit more about kitchens.
We're still going to talk about kitchens, but we want to talk a little bit about building code in kitchens, man.
Oh, building code talk.
Thank you, Carlito. Wasn't expecting that. You caught me off guard. Okay, so does anybody have any idea what minimum size of a kitchen should be regarding the OBC, the Ontario Building Code?
Whoa, very
minimum
interesting.
size, right? And you guys probably won't know that. I
Okay,
didn't know
so
that.
when you say a kitchen area and full,
area, including cabinetry area,
I would say 10 by 10.
4.2 meters square, which if you...
12?
Yeah, 12 feet. And then the minimum ceiling height of a kitchen.
Oh, well.
I didn't know there was one.
There is a minimum. You can make it 7 feet.
I was going to say, can't be less than 7 because nothing's going to fit.
It won't work, right? So 7. And then what's the minimum distance between passageways, between countertop and appliances and countertop and wall?
I'm pretty sure that 30 is the minimum.
No, 36.
Is it?
36
It's
is
because
the
of
minimum
handicap.
It's because of handicap.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
also,
okay.
here's the final question. All receptacles in the kitchen, are they all GFI
Yes.
or only around water?
I think it's within 5 feet of the sink.
All of them.
Really?
They all have to be
That's
GFC.
why I hire excellent electricians so they know this stuff.
GFI. So
Well, you never know when a pipe's going to burst. It could go 8 feet or 10 feet, right?
I always thought it was just with the wet areas. That's
Yeah.
what I thought it was, right? So that was Carlito.
Thank you, Manny.
Building code.
Building code talk with Manny.
Back to Jackie. So Jackie, again, your handles, the website?
JackieSchagenDesign.ca. You can find all of my stuff when you Google my name, Jackie Schagen.
Really? That's
Jackie
simple.
Schagen Design.
And Schagen's-
I am the only one. SCHAGEN.
Look at that, huh?
You should put a little thing on the end and say shagging. Sorry, I had to.
Perfect. So now, Carlito, you had a question.
Well, I wanted to get into, we're talking a little bit about, wood and quartz and marble and granite, and we kind of put that away real fast. I really wanted to find out, when's it right to have MDF, wood stained? Like what kind of customer? Blue collar, is there a preference also
you're
there?
talking about cabinetry?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of good MDF cabinetry is still, it's how it's finished.
Well, I don't have a lot of cabinetry that's made out of MDF anymore. Most of them are using HDF.
High density.
Yeah.
Which is even
Nice.
better.
So
And it should be, you're right. It's
I
around
use
water.
The price is not significantly different. I hold both doors in front of the client and I say, do you see these little cracks on this wood door? Can you live with that? No. Okay, well then you have to go with this because wood expands and contracts, especially with our climate. You can't have this in your home because this is going to happen.
I actually like those little imperfections in the wood. That's just me, though.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's part of that education.
Yes.
If someone gets, their $100,000 kitchen and then 6 months later it's cracked everywhere, I don't want that call. I want you to know what you're getting and know how it's going to stand up and have realistic expectations.
You're so right. So I had a customer call me up and say, I want you to paint my maple cabinets that are stained. And I'm like, no problem. I can make them look like brand new. We'll put some valances on. We'll do a couple really cool things, some crown molding. We'll spray it up with some lacquer. A year goes by, and some of the joints that were natural wood to wood that weren't connected start to crack, and they start blaming me because I painted them and they should be good for 30 years. So you are right. Educating someone and telling them that there are going to be imperfections, not trying to talk them out of it, but
just
explaining to them.
Understanding that natural materials are imperfect.
That's right.
And you have to embrace that if you're going to have it in your home.
Especially if you're angry at your husband and you're smashing the cabinet.
That's what soft close is
I was just
for.
going to go there.
Yeah.
Soft
Everything's
close.
soft close. Everything's full extension. Everything's soft close. The inserts and the accoutrement that we have to put in kitchens now are just incredible.
What do you think of the servos? Are you thinking that the whole motorized touch?
You know what?
Do you like them?
I don't.
I don't.
We messed around with servo 12 years ago, and it was so finicky. And I mean, that's cool, but you lean against your cabinet, it starts to open, and you're in the way. And that, like, no, I don't. In certain circumstances, if there is someone who has, limited mobility, and
then it makes sense.
And, if there's that actual physical need, but otherwise, I think it's just showy.
It's the people that don't want any handles. They just don't want to clutter up whatever the finished material that they're using.
But the new Bloom tip-on, like the new hinges and stuff they've got for all the touchless, they're awesome.
They're very slick.
They're
You don't
really,
need it.
really good.
I like it. Again, personal preference, right?
Yeah.
That's very European. I find no handles is very Euro.
I love the no handles, and that can be done in incredible, beautiful ways, but it's just having the electric opening doors and drawers, they just get in your way.
Do you still design with the work triangle in mind?
No, I really
since
don't.
day one, I've been in this business 11 years. I've never used the work triangle. I remember in high school, way back in drafting class, it was just talk about work triangle over and over.
Yeah.
And even then, back in '89, I was like, "What are you talking about, man? I don't care about 27 feet between fridge, stove, and sink. Doesn't make any sense to me, man."
Actually, I do.
I don't.
I still kind of use that theory. Like, I like to ask them, how do you move around your kitchen? I don't want them to be later on thinking, oh, I wish I would have changed this. I wish I would have changed that. I kind of like the whole theory of the
problem
triangle.
with the work triangle, in my opinion, I think, is that fridges are getting wider than 36 inches now. They're getting counter depth.
Yeah.
Ranges are getting wider than 30 inches now because they're going with 48 or even
You got
wider.
some nice customers.
And then you've got two sinks in a kitchen most of the time. If you got an island, you got a second sink. It's not a triangle anymore. I don't know what shape
You're
it is.
definitely not doing blue collar.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
I think that when that original concept was created, it was a one cook kitchen. There was only a limited space. So, that was the one way to set a rule to it. I think that, like you mentioned, appliances have evolved, family situations have evolved. Like some of these kitchens now we're doing have 2 islands. It's not about the work triangle anymore. It's about creating the work zones. So this is the cleaning zone, and we're going to have, the dishwasher on this side and then the garbage on this side. You've got the sink in between, and we're going to make sure that zone is going to provide that function. And it's looking at how this unique space is going to be used by the people in it, and that's how we're going to plan it out to work properly.
How tech savvy are your clients getting with the kitchen?
It varies.
Does it? They don't start asking, because I remember, I think it was 4 years ago, one of my home automation guys showed me the backsplash being the TV screens.
Yep.
And I was like, that's fascinating, dude. How much? Never mind. It's never going to happen.
The tech in the kitchen, some of it's pretty cool. Like I like that some of the ovens have the temperature probes that you can see from your phone now, so you can make sure that you're not going to overcook the turkey. Some of that stuff is super practical. Some of the ones where, the fridge, can have that transparent bit. Some of it's just gimmicky. It's adding tech that's not adding value.
Yeah, I think a new twist, I mean, it's not a new twist, but I'm seeing more people doing it now. What I really like in kitchens is taller cabinets, and I love coffered ceilings in kitchens. So I'm really drawn to crown moldings and coffered ceilings in kitchens more than I am the actual
when
kitchen
you've got the
cabinets.
height, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Isn't it great when your client's 4'2" and she's asking for cabinets to go all the way to the top
No, but
of their 10-foot high ceiling?
But those are great places to put your Halloween baking stuff and your Christmas baking stuff, and it's got great places, right, to hide things.
Your clients has it always been the female in a female male relationship? Has it always been the female with the final decision?
Mostly.
Mostly.
Not every time, but let's say probably close to 85% of the time. Yeah.
It's her final decision.
Yep.
Even though they both cook, or even if he cooks more.
Yep.
Really, huh?
She's making these decisions.
Yeah.
Like she's running
I know. I'm just
Yeah.
having it reaffirmed.
No, you're right. But how do you feel about guys like myself? You hire me as a designer and you're trying to put together a great team, and then you bring
Yes.
a contractor that will start the job, finish it in the time schedule, on the budget, fly through it, no problems. And then you get someone like me that comes along and I start changing things on you. I start talking to the customer and saying,
Why would you do that?
I can't help myself. I see sometimes I see
that's
things.
not okay. See, if there's something that you see that can be improved, you talk to me. You don't talk to the client first, and then you and I, because we're the team.
You got that, Fredo?
And then we'll look at it and say, oh, you know what? That is a way better idea. Let's do this and talk to the client, because we're all coming to this with the common goal of wanting it to be the best possible. But sometimes I'm just going to say, I don't like that.
Well, this is a question we asked before. How do you feel about your contractor speaking about construction in general to the homeowner, that you bring them on?
70-30, a lot of the times the contractors are actually bringing me in. That's where the
Wow,
bulk of my work
interesting.
comes from, because again, a lot of people feel that hiring a designer is an extra fluff that is just going to add to their price. So I'm working with a lot of contractors to help them make the sale, make the upgrades, take care of that client process, because I'm excellent in sales and that's what I can really help them with, and just take care of the stuff that they don't want to do. I don't have a lot of contractors that are wanting to upset the boat. If they do, it's not going to be a strong working relationship.
She brings up a good point, because then you can deal with all the crap from the clients.
I do that for a lot of contractors.
How involved are you with the contractor in your designs? You just show up once, twice, or 3 times, or do you come back many times to make sure
That
things are going
varies
well?
on the job, and when the job is, in its infancy, when the contractor's quoting, we'll have like a good half-hour conversation about how we want to present this, how we want to work with this client, how you want me to interact with the client. Do you want me to deal with them directly? Do you want everything to go through you? Like, what do you want? Let's build this custom package together, and then we're going to come out looking super polished, and the client's going to be fully taken care of. So it's different every time.
Getting into some politics, how do you feel about designers that charge a certain price and then they bring in their contractors in, and then they make the contractor throw in more money for the designer? Because I know a lot of guys in this industry, they have to pay their designers off to get the job or to work with the designers.
I think that if I am bringing in a contractor that I trust enough to bring in on a job, I don't need to take extra. I don't need that greediness. But that's just me.
But I guess if you're working with someone new and you have to watch over them, there's nothing wrong with putting a little bit of money on for dealing with that contractor.
Yeah, totally. So again, it's so, every situation is so unique.
Yeah.
That blanketing that, I don't know. I have some contractors who do need more work than others, but I know that. So that I'm building that into what I need to do.
In my past, 30 years in business, I've worked with many designers, and a lot of them would charge a certain price, but then when it came for me to land the job for them, like they've already got paid for their designing. They want to make some money, and they only want to work with people that want to pay them, give them a cut of
Yeah.
the.
I think the word you're looking for is kickback.
Yeah, a kickback. And what happens is it becomes really hard for me to sell a job to
Right.
somebody and still make an income working with a designer. I'm kind of speaking
yeah.
for the contractor.
Totally. And you know what? I feel a successful relationship is when both people feel like they've lost a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When both people felt like they
I like
kind
that.
of
Completely
give
agree.
a little bit. Yeah, okay. We both won.
I've been on all the sides now, and at one point I hated having to pay designers, but now I realize that some of my favorite jobs were ones that I had to put a little bit of money back into someone else's pocket, but
Yep.
it was so well worth it for the homeowner and for myself and the experience, and just to be able to show off that kind of work. Because typically as a contractor, unless you're Manny, because Manny's very, he's a designer.
I saw the marble bathroom. I know.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's very interesting. Most contractors don't have that ability.
Right.
It's nice to be able to do something outside the normal building, right?
If we're both successful, that means we both get to continue to work, and we will want to continue to work together. And and that relationship building is worth everything.
That's the objective.
Well,
Right.
and as long as the homeowner's happy too. I mean,
That's it.
at the end of the day, if they're happy with spending that money and it went well, good for everybody. I just wanted to clear that up because at one time I was very angry at it and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not landing these jobs. I've got to pay this much money. It's not worth it for me. But now I realize, now that I'm older, that in a lot of cases,
Sometimes it wasn't, sometimes it wasn't. You just feel it out and
Yeah.
go with your gut.
Jackie, what is the stereotype of contractors? And then there's a follow-up question. What is the stereotype of designers?
The stereotype.
Don't worry.
Did you hear that?
We don't have feelings, right? So we don't have feelings. So you can't hurt our feelings because I'm pretty sure we know the same stereotypes.
I think the general consumer is terrified of contractors. They're so scared of being taken advantage of, or you showing up and the job's not finished or it's not done and they don't really know what things are worth. I think there's just an underlying fear and there's no way for them to really know what things are worth short of getting the 3 quotes. And even then, like, they could be all over the place. Like, who knows? So I think they're coming from a place of fear. The second question, what do people think of designers? I think that they think that we are just trying to spend their money and we're stuck up, and the contractors hate designers. I'm aware of this. This is something that I've been battling forever because they are coming on the job site and crying because they get mud on their high heels. Like, I don't, it...
I just came back from the gym and I've got to go to the next gym.
We don't all fit in that box. And, some of us went into this to actually help people get the best they can out of it. And it's, again, not about the ego.
For the record, I actually like working with designers.
Cool.
Yeah, I get
That means you're working with good designers, which is
yeah,
awesome.
drawings. I don't have to do drawings anymore. I get rendered drawings. It's detailed. I don't have to ask any questions. That picture tells me everything. I'm like, okay, that's what I have to make.
And I find that a lot of the contractors are the same. Like, they want to go in and do their job and not have to ask Mrs. Jones 4 different questions every hour. She doesn't know what she wants. Then she gets all flustered. Then you're stopped. Like, if that's just handled, you can just go in and do your thing, be happy and do the best you can do, and everybody walks away happy.
My stereotype now is, or my headache is not working with designers because I want to work with designers and I love working with designers.
That's
and I love,
so nice to
I
hear.
love learning. And oh, wait. How can I make a tongue noise?
I'm so glad you people cannot see what I just saw because I can't unsee what I just saw.
You just said you people.
That's right. Oh, God.
But getting
Yes,
to it,
all you people.
my problem isn't the contractor anymore or the designer when I'm speaking about the designer and the contractor together. It's the homeowner. My big pet peeve is that the homeowner wants to spend more money on finishes instead of the more important things like the structural, the blocking in the walls.
His problem is what I have a problem with as well, too, is that where can we save money? Because I need to buy a Sub-Zero.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where can we save money? Because I want to buy a Viking. It's not really fair, right? And that's where how do you have that conversation? Because that is a change. I don't care how you look at it. And I've had this happen to me where you spec out a kitchen for a particular appliance and then literally 2 weeks before the cabinets are to arrive on site, the appliance changed.
Then the client's paying for that.
Of course, but then you got
it screws up your time frame.
Exactly.
It screws up everything else.
There's a whole domino effect.
Yep.
So how do you deal with that? Like, I guess you just communicate. You just sit down and go, fine, whatever you want to change it, we'll change it. But this is here's the result.
You have to sign this. Here's what's going to cost. Here's how it's going to affect your budget. Here's how it's going to affect your timeline. And here's how it's going to piss everyone else who's working for you because we've been planning this for a year, man.
Oh, that's nice.
What
I'm going to put that in the
happened?
line there.
I want to say it now, and the last time we interviewed some designers, I didn't have the same opinion I have now. Like, I've really grown since then.
Oh, look at you.
That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
That was like episode 4 or 5.
No, but this is the truth. If you have a designer on site to design your home, the project will be so much more beautiful than the just stick drywall paint. And I'm not speaking for all contractors. There is a small percentage of 5 to 7%, like Manny's projects, or I only get to do really great projects with designers. Homeowners I have, I'm just doing repairs.
And
so
I'm
never
actually
get
going to take
anything
that
cool.
one step further. The beauty is what you can see, but the function of it is something you don't understand until you're actually living in it. And some people are living with really terrible kitchens and they just don't even know any better.
But that's where you come in. That's where you need to explain because you know the function behind. You know that if you take widget A and connect it to widget B and put it together with widget C, this is how this kitchen's going to work. They don't know that.
But beyond kitchens, like anything that you're hiring a contractor to do, mostly, you don't know that it could function better if you just did these 3 things. I wish that every contractor would build in even a 2-hour consult with a designer. because it would change how that project turns out.
You're so right.
Even 2 hours, like if that's all I can give to you
That's
and
a
that's all
great
you can
idea.
afford, cool. But please do.
That's a great idea.
You're spending this much money. What's another $500? Like, come on.
Being a designer, you're coming up with the look. What are you looking? What does a contractor help you with? Like, what is the thing that you look for in a contractor, or looking to a contractor to help you in your business? Like, what is it that you need help with? I know it's a weird kind of question.
And it was all over the place.
Carlito has this thing where he asks you one question and then he asks you 4 different versions of that one question. So I just heard one question
It's
there.
ADD, sorry.
You know what? I need contractors because I don't have the experience with the building science. That's not my background. It's not where I'm coming from. I want to know if there's something. Sometimes it actually comes after the fact. Like, I was just doing a kitchen with my contractor. He's like, oh, there's a couple of things that didn't work in the kitchen. I'm like, okay, well, what were they? What did I do that you think I should do differently later?
You're so
I'm
right.
not necessarily going to change, but I want to know, because whether it's your opinion or whether it's actually something that I screwed up. And even if it is your opinion, I can take that information and I can add it to the knowledge base that I'm working with. And then I have that to make judgment calls going forward.
It's just like working with an engineer. If I'm going to work with a designer that doesn't care about me making some money, I don't want to break even. I'm not in the business
we're
to
all
break
here
even.
to make money.
Yeah, so we're all here to make money. You're right. You get to come and go. I have to stay. It's really important that I work with a designer that really cares about me as much as they do the homeowner, right? And that makes a great team.
Let's talk a little bit about bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are people? Let's just stay in Masterland. Let's talk about master
Yeah.
bathrooms. I'm assuming she has full reign over master bathrooms.
Yep.
I'm assuming most women are definitely loving freestanding bathtubs and
Yep.
separate from a shower.
Absolutely.
Even though the majority of human beings shower more than they do bathe.
Yep.
I bathe.
I didn't need to know that.
I love a good tub. I'm putting this freestanding tub in my own home. That's what I like. Some people are taking them out. It depends on the space that they have. Like, that is one of those, the statement piece that's there. What's the word I want? That's the status symbol currently. You want the freestanding tub with the floor filler with the chandelier above. Like, that's what everybody.
You didn't say illegal chandelier in the bathroom.
First of all, it's only illegal if you're caught.
So did you know that having a chandelier in your bathroom is illegal?
No, hang on a second.
Oh yeah, so I should
Hang
say
on
over
a
the
sec.
over top of the
We
bathtub.
didn't talk about height
Yes.
either.
No, you're right. So you're both right. If it's within 1 meter of a person standing
Yes.
at the bottom of the tub,
Yep.
I have yet to see a client who's asked for that chandelier to get parked higher than what's
Yep.
legal. They've always wanted lower, right?
But that's
And-
what we aspire to.
I know. That's why they designed electrical plates to put over those octagon boxes and then get your final inspection and then bye-bye, Mr. Inspector.
But I would like to say that I do love chandeliers over the bathtub.
So then why are you complaining about
No,
it?
I just wanted I think it's important that the construction life's about educating people
Absolutely.
about codes and violations and the facts, right?
Yep.
So we like
I
to have
totally
these
agree.
talks.
In the showers, what are clients asking for? Because I guess we're going to talk blue collar. Blue collar is going to be 1 shower head, and then luxurious is going to be 15.
I want to tell you what I'm doing for blue collar
What
now.
are you doing for blue
I
collar?
am doing curbless. I am doing no more doors for curbless. I'm doing radiant heat for blue collar.
No glass? No glass doors?
Only one sheet unless they're handicapped. If they're handicapped, then I do the whole bathroom. It's 100% waterproof. Tiles are typically all the way around the walls, but I don't get too many handicapped bathrooms anymore.
It's like anything else. It starts with, the 1% and it filters down to everybody else. Everyone who buys a new car, like, heated seats are standard now.
And they should be.
They're so
Agree.
nice.
Strongly
Man,
agree.
do I love heated
They're so
seats.
nice.
Crank the
But-
window open. You're
But now, when people are doing it, even the blue collar, they know about these things. And when you know about it, then you want it. And it's more available. It's more the norm. Like, the heated floor is awesome.
and it's cheaper now.
Exactly. As it becomes more popular, it becomes more available, the price point becomes more affordable because there is more of it. Woo, economics. So,
And you said you didn't like numbers.
I married an engineer. There's a halfway there.
I still want to figure out how to do heated walls and have it pass, but they won't let me pass it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
ESA
know about
won't let
that.
me pass it. You can pass it if you do radiant, and I'm not going to do radiant on the walls
I did by
Why
accident.
do you want heated walls?
because I don't want to put glass walls. I don't want to put glass door.
Okay.
And I've had this idea for like 9 years now, And it started off with somebody, a fan of mine, a follower in Texas, and she wanted to do it. And her idea to solve this situation where she didn't want glass walls, but she wanted a heated shower. She wanted to put this China warming light, like the regular light you would get from a fast food chain, in her shower.
In her shower?
In the shower to heat the whole area. And I just said, Kelly, don't do that, please. Don't do that. That's just dangerous right there.
Yeah.
It's like radiant. It's the same thing. So when you're standing on the floor and it's heated, it's just been recently that people have been putting heated sections in the shower sections.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't know the law when I was doing
separate.
it.
I know.
But I've done benches inside of showers, and I've done the back wall because my customers have said, my wife wants this. And I have not heard one bad thing that's happened from those projects. Only good things about the women are reading on the floor now. They put like a blanket on the floor.
In the shower?
In the shower, not inside the shower, but in the bathroom, like because the floors are heated. But I also hear that when the girls are taking a shower, they're leaning on their back wall.
I just think that the
bench.
shower would be very warm if you had radiant walls, especially in an alcove, so 3 walls. And you wouldn't need the glass. It's theory. It's only theory now. I've never practically done it yet. I'm just assuming it would be the case.
I don't know whether that would be true because I'm thinking that's creating even more heat in that area, which is going to cause the air to circulate even more because you've got the fan on, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it would actually cause more draft.
Well, you could do steam. Like if you want heat that bad, do a
Then you
steam
need
shower.
glass. The whole point is to get rid of the glass.
Right.
I personally love, back to Europe, I love seeing bathrooms where you see that tub right beside the shower and there's no glass separation. You know that when you're showering, water is trickling over the tub.
Yep.
Not one person's using the tub and another person's using the shower. So whatever, you finish the shower, that water will dry and dissipate from the bathtub.
But then it's cleaning it.
But it's no glass. No, but the glass you don't clean.
No, but when the tub is in the shower area, then you're not just cleaning your shower, you have to clean that tub and
so you
everything
rinse
in there
the whole
too.
thing. I mean, I don't know who's lazy out there. You just rinse the whole shower when you finish, right? I know, trust me, there's lots of clients that are lazy that, I don't know why there's all this soap scum. It's
I hate
because
cleaning,
you just,
so I am going to design everything so that it's going to be as low maintenance as possible.
What are you finding? Are people using marble still in bathrooms? Are they using porcelain now? What are they using? I'm starting to use a lot of more quartz on the walls now.
It depends on the format. Actually, I saw these new, okay, they're not new, they're like 5 years old, but there's these small glass hex that look, I think they're like 5/8 or 3/4, and they look like marble, and they're gorgeous. Like they're just, but I mean, I know that a lot of the contractors hate cutting glass tile, so there's that, all of those challenges.
You only hate it if you don't know how to do it.
Or the right tool.
Sometimes as a designer, you have to design to the capability of your contractors.
Or change your contractor.
But I mean, 2020, there's so many tools. I've seen, like, you don't use an electric saw to cut glass. You could score it.
I got a beautiful score and cut, unless it's marble. If it's marble,
I'm talking about glass.
Yeah, I got a little score and cut. It's a tiny little thing. It's like a book, and I just do all my little sheets.
But I think it comes down to what the customer is okay with again. Like if they love that beauty and imperfection of nature, let's do the marble. If they look at it and they're like, oh, I don't like that dot, and okay, that this is not the right thing for you because not every piece is going to be the same. Let's go look at the porcelain. It's controlled. Doing some more of, I haven't done any of the thin porcelain, but I've done some quartz showers. They were just like breathtaking.
I'm not in showers. I'm not a fan of the porcelain. It's just, I broke too many of them.
Well,
I haven't seen anything smash.
It's installing, and when you're doing, I did the wainscoting thing, man. Like when you're installing pieces of it,
but there was a lot of detail in that also.
That's what I was getting
I'm
frustrated
talking about just grabbing a sheet that's 7 feet by 5 feet and putting on the thin set and slapping it on with suction cups, right?
That would make me nervous to put it in the shower. I'd rather use a 3/4 slab or even at least a 1 cm of porcelain.
Well, some of the stuff's getting super thin. Like the new Decton is 4 millimeters.
That makes me nervous. Extremely. And then how many holes are inside of that?
But if my fabricator will do it,
sure,
they'll price it.
If they'll
with
take
that
the responsibility, sure.
Well, there's another thing to talk about here. The homeowners don't realize it. They might sign off on it, but when these things get delivered and they come off the truck, the contractor is liable for every sheet.
That depends who's installing it.
No,
my fabricator
exactly.
does the cut and the install. Like end to end, you're like, this is your baby.
That's actually nice.
I just stand there with a camera to capture it if it happens.
But you know what? Believe it or not, when you have a suction cup machine that's 6 feet by 4 feet wide, those suction cups hold that firm, and it's not going to go anywhere, right?
But it's so brittle until it's actually in place.
Yeah,
And then
until that
it's
thin
solid.
set sets up. So what are the big things right now that you're seeing, like with niches and benches and so on? Like,
It's not a very quickly changing space. What I think is coming, and I'm actually super excited about, is the really awesome toilets with the crazy bidet seats and the lights.
I love all those.
And I think since toilet paper gate has all happened,
Oh man.
it's kind of opened the door for that. I think that we're so behind and so afraid as North Americans of these changes, and they're fantastic. And I think actually for myself, when I'm planning bathrooms now, I'm not even asking. I'm putting a GFI beside the toilet.
Because you know it's coming.
I know it's coming. I want you to be ready. And even if you don't want it now,
No, that's brilliant.
But this is what's coming. And I think that it's good for the environment. It's good for your body.
Yep.
It's good for so many things. Let's just do this.
you're so right.
What's the cheapest you've seen? I've seen seats as cheap as maybe $2,000 for a bidet heated feature.
Yeah, but you're talking good companies. There are cheaper companies
There's
out there
super
producing.
basic ones now that don't even that are battery that you can put on like your existing space.
I don't want to do battery.
I'm not saying it's what you would do when you're renovating, but if this is something you want to try out before you invest in this whole big thing, like you can get them online for like $200.
The reason I don't want to do batteries is because I don't want to spend that much time around a toilet that's already been used or not cleaned properly to change batteries. And then you drop a D cell or a C cell or whatever, and now you're looking for it, and I'm like, I don't know about this. I'd rather just plug it in.
In my own house,
No, I'm saying a client calls you up and goes, listen, I found this toilet, bidet feature, heated, great.
no, these are simple enough
on
that a client can install themselves.
No
No
client.
way.
I've gone back to install regular seats, just a regular seat, because she found a scratch. This is after I explained to her. I go, listen, I understand, and I didn't insult her. I just said, I looked at her and I was going, you're of a certain generation that used to use a product that is very abrasive and is in a tin cup.
Comet.
Yeah.
and that's what you use to clean anything that's white. That's just how it is, right?
Yep.
And so as soon as you put on a brand new toilet and it's got a plastic seat on it,
Yes.
you take the comment to it.
Yep.
And what's it going to do to that plastic? It's going to scratch the hell out of it.
Absolutely.
And so she's like, it's a seat scratch. I don't know how it got scratched. I have no idea. I'll order a new seat. And then I've gone in to put the seat in.
Well, that's another thing I always do. I never take the plastic off the seat cover.
The job was done, photographed. It was
Oh,
all
I
done,
see.
man. She just used comment to clean it. And you're not supposed to. It actually says it. And
Or
it,
someone went to the beach and then
No,
came home.
no. It was. I knew it was Comet because as she
You could
was
see the
away.
swirls?
No. I opened up the bottom of the vanity, and what was right smack in the middle.
Yeah.
Comet. You can't use Comet on these new products, right?
We can't make everything client proof.
No, of course
Well,
not.
let's just say it right now. Cleaning vinegar. Not vinegar, but cleaning vinegar does wonders.
I don't do cleaning.
Well, I have to. A lot of times customers call me over and they
Yeah.
get me to
Absolutely.
do some like personal things. And I'm there and I'm like, is that like a complete hairy chihuahua or did someone just shave? Sorry, did I go outside the box?
That brings us to our last segment.
Oh, wait a second. The Green Book Talk.
I'm so glad that Carlito shows up to all the meetings, huh?
So we're going to keep it simple for the designers and
Are
something
you calling us simple?
No.
Oh my God.
I'm-
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
No, you guys are far from simple. That's for sure.
Complicated?
But, I have to think about you guys coming in and what Green Book Talk would we have to have in common with you guys. So I'm just going to go to the basic 101, and that would be worker failing to wear protective footwear. How much do you think the fine is on that? Even for a designer coming into a construction site.
Well, it would be anybody.
Yeah, anyone, but designers are special. So
I'm
I'm
gonna go
saying,
with 285.
oh, I'll take 286. What's the price is right?
This is $1.
I'll go $1.
Okay, no, it's 250 for your first fine,
Okay.
for your first offense.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny about that offense, and I learned this from an inspector, is that if the clients are on site, they don't need to be wearing any protective anything.
Because it's their home.
It's their dwelling.
Yeah, and it's also their insurance, their home insurance.
But you don't find that stupid? Like clients will show up and kids will show up and the client's extended family shows up
Oh.
and their friends show up. Everybody that's attached to the
Wait a
client shows
second.
up.
Do they bring crayons and markers on the wall?
The point is that they're not wearing the protective, but we can get fined $250.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're working there, right?
I just felt that would be important to talk
Yeah.
about. Most people don't have, or some contractors I see wear their boots in and then put their runners
Running
on.
shoes.
Or their papuche in my language, which means slippers.
The Crocs.
Yeah, not like Manny's. Manny has like the old genie ones with the little curve in the front.
Nice.
Sorry, I had to.
I
Okay.
think I actually still have my very first pair of steel toes. They were like the Doc Marten ones.
Oh, I remember
They
those.
weighed
Oh,
like
wicked.
18 pounds each. Like
I
my
remember
calves
those.
were like so sculpted. And I think they're falling apart now, but they still do the job. I've got my little white helmet for when, I have to. But most of the work I do is renovations. So I'm not running into that as much as I used to.
What are you finding customers are bringing you in for?
Usually it's for bigger projects. The design field is so muddy too. Like I wish there was a separate thing for designers and decorators because that's really blended.
Really? I thought a decorator furnishes things.
Oh, this is interesting.
A
What is the
designer
difference? What is the
designs
difference?
things.
People use them interchangeably.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
Even there are decorators who call themselves designers. I'm like, that's not really what you're doing.
No, I've had a decorator tell me that she was a designer, and I actually had to correct her.
Okay, so what is a
You're-
So
decorator?
then, if the
You
people
order
in the
furniture,
field don't do
and-
it,
yeah.
how is the client supposed to know what the hell is going on?
I thought that was called a stager.
That's a whole separate thing. That's when
Okay,
only
so you
when
go
people
from
are
the film
selling.
terminology. It's set dresser, so it's basically a furniture mover. I mean, I'm not downplaying it, but yeah,
No, it's a whole specialty like
Yeah.
draperies
But
and window coverings
you
and
steam
furniture. It's
and
a whole
iron,
separate
and
thing.
you move furniture and you place it in place, and you do
Area
all-
rugs.
Yeah, you roll out the area rugs. Yeah, sure.
Well, and knowing about the wear rate of fabrics, like
course,
it's a whole
totally.
specialty. And I have people that I will partner with that know that, but it's not my strength. It's not my interest.
But it's not designing either.
no,
So
some
what-
companies will do both.
Sure. And also, you have
I'm not sure
companies
how well
that
they're
are
doing it well.
They have an architect, they have an engineer in house,
Yes.
they have the GC in house, they have the designer in house, they have the decorator inside. So everybody's got their jobs.
That's right.
Sure.
Okay, so when I watch TV shows and I see them talking about curtains and everything, that's a designer decorator then? It's
It
not
depends
just a
what that
design show
person's
anymore, right?
credentials are.
Okay.
That's an
so it's-
actor.
Not always, but it's like contractors. Like it's such a broad term. What are people actually doing? So
Well,
when
each
people
individual
call me
trades.
in, like I've positioned myself that I'm a space planning expert. Like this is my passion. This is what I love to do. I want to make sure that things are going to function as well as they possibly can. You want to redo your whole main floor? Cool, let's look at it. Maybe you actually don't need to take out that $10,000 load bearing wall because it's not going to make it function better. Let's look at it, the whole thing.
Wow, that's like the smartest thing I've ever heard a designer say. Like you're actually trying to fit. Like I've never heard. Like every time I talk to a designer, they're always talking about the material. You're actually talking about making the space
The
the
material
most
is the
efficient.
very last step of what we do.
I'll just
The very
apologize,
last
Jackie,
one.
for his little comment there, the little backhanded. That's the smartest thing I've ever heard a designer say.
No, but like
I actually didn't take it that way. But
No,
now I'm
I didn't-
a
I
little
took
offended.
it that way.
I didn't mean it that way. I meant to say that whenever I talk to a designer, they're always talking about the quartz countertops. No one's ever actually said that. It's so like to me that meant a lot. Like you're taking a space and making it the
What
most
did you call it
efficient.
again? What's that title?
I'm a space planning expert.
I like that title.
Yeah, I like that too.
That
Because-
best describes what I'm best at and what I'm passionate about. I know about those materials because once we've planned it, now we're going to spec out the stuff to actually make it. But it has to work. Form follows function.
Function.
Always.
Unless the customer says, "I don't care. Here's my credit card."
No, I care.
Good for you. Right on.
If they want to design something that doesn't work, that's okay too.
Because it's
But
their house.
I've educated them about what the best option is.
Speaking for all designers, what would you like to change about homeowners? Oh, I like this. This is the second one.
Dude, I've been in my house for a long time. Their brain is moderately mushy. Once I'm in a working relationship with a client, we've got to a level of trust and communication with each other that if we've got to that part or to that level or that stage in the process, we're usually pretty good.
So you wouldn't change anything?
Well, I wish they all had unlimited funds. and wouldn't go and ask, their neighbor and their. Actually, I was listening to a podcast. I'm a member of the National Kitchen Bath Association, which doesn't hold a lot of credence in Canada, but I get a lot of education from it professionally. And I was listening to this one guy doing a podcast about sales techniques, and he says, one of the ways I've positioned this is that I tell them, listen, this is going to be our secret. Don't go telling your aunt and your neighbor. Let's wait to show them at the very end. But what he's actually doing is making sure that they're not asking 16 other people their opinions, because no matter what I say, I'm going to be wrong. So that would be the thing I'd change. If they could just kind of, now I'm using that. Let's kind of just keep this private, because those people haven't been in the 30 hours of conversations we've had.
You're so right.
Very true.
Let's just trust that we know what's best working together.
I always felt that not all designers, but many designers don't have respect for contractors.
I think that relationship going both ways has been really unfortunate for a really long time.
It's a chicken and egg, man. We don't know who started it.
And even more in commercial. I've done a lot of commercial work. I've done nightclubs and restaurants and banquet halls. And I find that those type of designers are like, wow, the
nightmare.
They're so disconnected from the contractor. They just assume that we're just workers doing their bid without being intelligent enough to put it together, right?
Well, I think that part of that is too that the client that they're working with is not so personally invested. Like this is a business decision. So it's a totally different feel to the whole job and the whole relationship. But in design school, like they basically bake the snobbery right into you. And here's what you're going to walk into, and here's what you're going to do.
They do that?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So wow.
It didn't stick to me.
For contractors just for contractors listening, what do designers look for in a contractor?
I can only speak for myself. I want someone who's going to speak to me as an equal, not look down on me because A, I'm female, B, because I'm not actually on the tools. I want to respect their trade as much as they're respecting mine. And I think that when we come at a project wanting to work together, that's going to be someone that I want to continue working with.
Have you worked with women contractors yet?
Not GCs, but trades. Yeah.
Right on. That's good.
My favorite electrician, she owns the business. Her husband works for her. She is kicking ass and taking names.
Can we hear a name?
It's Campbell Williams out of Whitby. Vicky runs the show, and she's good shit.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
She's a master electrician?
She is. An electrical contractor, yeah.
We want to always hear it because I think that we got the number that there's only 3% of the workforce in construction is female across Canada. 3%.
And hopefully that'll change, but it's a tough slog. Like even in my role, it's not easy.
Do you find it tough working with men?
No.
Wait a minute.
I love it.
It depends on the person. Like I've worked with some of the old Italian contractors and they don't even want to look at me. You're a useless little girl, go home. And then I will just try to take care of the client and not interact with them as much as I can.
Right.
But some of the younger guys, they're excited about the projects. They want to do really cool stuff. And here's what we can come up with together. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is why we're all doing this, for the passion.
Do you do anything outside of residential? Do you do commercial designing also?
No, I'm strictly residential.
And why is that?
It's my experience and my interest level. Like if I had someone that had a commercial project and wanted a team on it, cool. But it's not my wheelhouse.
I'm the same way, man. I can't stand commercial.
I love commercial.
That's you.
Well, come on, Manny. A lot of the most amazing things have come out of commercial for residential.
Okay, there's two reasons why I don't like commercial. The 90-day period.
You're right.
And they want it done yesterday. I don't need to work 24 hours or have 3 shifts.
I mean, if you can put that aside, that there's some
that's commercial though. A business is not open, it's not making money. So then the only thing that's stopping you from making money is the contractor and the work being done. So then they're going to tell you, go get 3 shifts. Go get 3 crews so you can have.
But there's a lot of money there too to be made.
90-day period.
Yeah, but once you get good with money and you become successful enough, it's part of the MO.
It's part of the flow.
Yeah.
True, but that's the reason why I don't get into it. I know there's a lot more creativity attached to it and you could do some interesting things, but
well, and from the design end, like you go into some of the newly renovated or newly built restaurants and I'm just looking around the whole time, like I'm looking up.
Doing the exact same thing.
They're just doing amazing things that we can't get away with in a residential yet. Commercial is always going to be more cutting edge.
Yes.
Restaurants, hotels, retail. And then it's going to trickle down and morph into the way that can fit into residential.
Like reality?
Yeah.
For the homeowners listening or even contractors that want to bring in a designer, what is something that you really want to do in someone's home that you haven't been able to yet?
I'm so into the matte black kitchens right now.
Wow. Oh, look at
They're
someone
just,
smiling over
like,
here.
I just look at them and I just salivate.
I think they're beautiful.
And I share them on my Instagram. I'm really,
they're
really
beautiful.
active, and I'm sharing stuff that I see all over the world all the time. Like I share other people's stuff all over the place because share it all and be inspired. So on my stories, like every day I've got like 5 or 6 on there, like stuff that I'm following some out of Finland too. And like they're doing these black matte, the Phoenix kitchens. And I'm like, it's just
Stunning.
Like
Is that sprayed lacquer?
no, it's the
Different.
new Phoenix ARPA material.
And what is that exact? I'm sorry.
So it's a particle core, but it's a new
laminate?
yes.
Okay.
You remember the Digital Fab podcast that you were on?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
You know
Listen to
what?
it again.
I think it was a terminology I got lost in.
No,
Sorry.
no. So there's new. It basically MDF and HDF and all these other boards now. There's bunches of like new products.
the finishes are incredible.
Yeah,
Like this
they're
stuff,
insane.
it's we had a door that is this material, and it's basically self-healing. So I took it upon myself, and I took a fork, I took keys, I took coins, and I tried to damage this door. So you can use like a magic eraser, and it's got this nanotechnology that it's self-repairs.
It's like a magic eraser's partly fiberglass and it scratches, doesn't it?
But you're trying to create
That's how
that
durable this
abrasion
stuff is.
Wow.
to let it self-heal. And the ones that I couldn't do with a magic eraser, you could do with like a wet paper towel and an iron. The only thing that I could cause damage with that I couldn't repair myself was taking like literally a butcher knife material.
What was the name of that again?
It's called Phoenix, F-E-N-I-X. And it's European material. It's super matte. It's so durable. The new engineer materials, like I get so excited because they're so awesome and they're like nothing we've seen before.
There was a kitchen company in Vegas out of Italy. Starts with a K. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Are you trying to make me guess?
No. I'm trying to remember it, but that's what they had. They had a lot of those kinds of
Yep.
finishes now, and I loved it. And I loved that you go into these different booths in North America.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine one day I'll go to Europe and go to their show, and not one of them is showing White Shaker, man.
No.
Manny's happy.
I'm just saying.
So what's
man.
happening with lighting in kitchens now? Are we losing the valance lighting and so on? Or
We're building it in because we don't want to see that extra trim piece anymore. We're going for that super sleek. You've got that slab door. You're recessing them in. You're doing the channels. You're building
reveals, yeah.
in the glass shelves, and you've got channels in the side that are like hidden behind the back of the gate. Oh, it's cool stuff happening.
How-
And lots of metal.
What's the price difference?
Oh, it's cheap.
You liar! Really,
The lighting will cost a lot more the more built in it is. The Phoenix material versus the painted, they're pretty close to the same price.
That's really good.
And like this stuff's it's what I'm putting in my kitchen.
I want to get into some politics with you.
Yeah.
And you can be diplomatic if you want, or you.
I'm not good at that.
Good. I like that. What is a set price to hire a designer? What's realistic to be looking at when you're hiring a designer? What are the costs that we're looking at when a contractor or homeowner?
What does it cost to buy a car? What does it cost to
we talked about this Hyundai,
build a deck?
Cadillac, Ferrari.
Right. The way that I structure is that I have a flat fee for my initial consultation. If someone moves forward with me, I apply that to it. But everything else I'm building custom based on the project. Like if someone wants me to just help them reconfigure their IKEA kitchen because they're the weekend warriors and that's what they want to do because they just bought their house and they don't have money but they really need to do this, versus someone who's dropping $300,000 on this reno, like I'm building a custom package every time.
It's funny because I think you can answer your own question, because what is the price of construction, Carlito? What have you always said?
There is no set
Thank you very
price
much.
in construction.
So design-wise,
And I wanted to say that earlier on too, like when we were talking about when I was trying to bring up some politics with contractors having to pay their designer off. It's totally worth it. And if there is no price in construction, as long as you're getting your wish list, you're getting it on time, you're getting it with.
But I think Jackie brought up a really good point that, I mean, for 2 hours of your time and a small consultation fee, she could actually speak. 2 hours is a long time. Our podcasts go 2 hours, like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we cover a lot of stuff.
Trust me, man, we could go 2 hours.
I know, I'm just saying. But a contractor would do an actual good service to actually speak to somebody like her about, I've got a client who wants to do this. I really don't know how to tackle that. Can you kind of give me some insight for that?
And that's fair. But now, is it fair to say that if you're a homeowner, I want you to look at contractors differently? If I've got to sit down at a meeting with a designer that's getting paid, then why isn't a contractor
I'm on the
getting
same
paid?
page. I'm on the
no,
same
I'm just
page,
having a
man.
talk, okay,
Yeah.
man? Don't get upset.
I'm on your side when it comes to that, man. I'm totally on your side. The problem is that we deal with clients that are motivated by budgets.
Yep.
Like I said, they're going to ask a contractor to kind of do something cheaper so they can bring in the Sub-Zero.
That happens all the
All
time.
the
And that's
time.
not going to go away.
Yeah.
That's just that type of client. I'm like, I know I'm just selling boxes. That's all you want. You want the Sub-Zero, you want the Wolf range, you want the red knobs. That's where your value set lies. And I'm going to try really hard not to judge it, that you want to put in this, builder basic kitchen. That's your prerogative. And if that's what you want to spend on, I'm still going to help you get the best you can for that.
Here's a question for you, Jackie. Do you have a set of tools?
I do, actually.
What color are they? Hang on a sec. Carlito, what color
No,
are
I know where this is going.
Hang on a second. I say Makita.
No.
I don't actually have a lot of power tools,
Okay.
but I did come into my marriage with more tools than he did.
But he's an engineer.
But he lived in apartments. Like when you're a student, you live in apartments. You
true.
don't collect tools.
Okay. All right.
Well, his tool would be a pencil.
Computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Computer.
But
Yeah.
so go on, tell us.
I was going to say DeWalt.
You know what? I don't really have a
Oh,
preference.
okay.
What do you have right now at home?
I think we have lots of Mastercraft.
Oh, That's okay.
You know why?
That's a
'Cause
name that we
we're
haven't
not-
heard.
We're not professionals.
No, you're right. But I'll tell you the truth. I do have some Mastercraft tools. And
Really? You're
Yeah.
admitting that on air?
Yeah, I'm okay with it, man.
I got a drill when I was probably like early 20s. Living on my own, doing my own stuff. It's all I needed.
I go to Princess Auto too, buddy.
Mastercraft's not sold at
No,
Princess
I know,
Auto.
but I'm just saying, like Canadian Tire, Princess Auto. Like I got a budget too. Sometimes my customers aren't like your customers.
But yet you still use Hilti.
Oh well,
One of the more expensive tool brands
But
out there.
I'm not going to replace those. Like I don't have any. Like I know that's going to last a real long. If my DeWalt tools have lasted me for 15 years, can you imagine what my Hilti tools are going to last?
I don't
me?
care about your DeWalt.
I have Stanley stuff.
That's DeWalt.
All right, I like yellow.
See, that's why I said DeWalt.
Yeah, actually, it's just a big joke. We
Yeah, I know.
You know what? What works for whoever, it doesn't
Totally.
really matter. We just like teasing back and forth. But Manny is very, very in love with Bosch.
Oh my God. So Jackie, where do you think kitchens and bathrooms are going?
I think tech's coming in. I think
A lot
I
of
see
tech.
it coming, but in a useful way. Like
Not in a gimmicky way.
right, like the induction, it's happening. Like that's becoming a lot more mainstream.
I do love those.
Oh, they're
I have
so,
induction.
they're
I
so
actually I was
awesome.
invited to the Panasonic showroom, and they actually have a full kitchen set up there.
Yeah.
With gas and all different
Yeah,
types, and
yeah.
then they have their induction.
Yeah.
And they've had like award-winning chefs there cook
Yeah.
on the induction, be blown away by the induction. I was always taught gas on top and electric on the ovens, right? But no, man, this
Induction's
stuff.
incredible, and
It
the way
is.
that like a lot of people are in North America are moving to smaller living spaces. So having that counter space be used for more than just cooking, because when it's a gas grate, you can't do a whole lot else on it. But the new technology that's coming, I think, I wish I don't have the brand on the top of my head. When we're doing some of the new ultra compact surfaces like the Decton, you can have the
burner,
underneath, so it's not actually even taking space. It's fully invisible of where these
And it turns.
induction
Have you seen
burners
this?
are.
Have you seen this stuff?
I have it.
You have it. What do you have it?
in my trailer.
No,
No,
you
you
do
don't.
not.
Yeah, I got
No,
a two.
you-
I got
It's
a
not even
220.
available
I don't want
yet.
to brag about it, but I got a $220,000 trailer.
No, you do
and I
not-
have
you-
it in there.
no,
Wait,
you do-
I keep inviting you up, but you don't want to come up.
Because
No.
I keep hearing a banjo. No, and I'm not going. You do not have this. This is stone with the heating element underneath it.
Okay, I don't have that.
and the magnetic field is still created above.
And when it turns off,
Okay.
it's cold to the touch.
There's a little bit of heat transfer,
Is there a
but,
little?
but a little bit.
But you can't
It's
burn
stone.
it. It's stone.
Okay, because mine's glass. Yeah.
Glass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Mine's
we're
all
talking,
glass.
Yes, the induction are all glass. But with the new ultra compact surfaces like Decton and a few others that are coming out, because they have zero resins in them, they're putting like underneath the countertop, they're putting these conductors that are creating the magnetic field, which will now activate the ferrous materials in
The
your
pan.
pot in the pan.
Yeah.
Cooktops, yeah. Or the cooking.
But that's not cheap either. Like,
No.
we had to buy special pots and pans for
You
this.
shouldn't have to if you have decent
Well, you have to have
ones,
that magnetic connection to turn it
you
on,
do,
right?
but most pots, like the stuff that I bought 10 years ago, you just take a magnet to put it to the bottom of the pot. If it sticks, you're good. Like, unless
That's not true. I've had so many problems.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't
honestly.
know shit about pots.
I've had so many problems with them. We bought them. It says it, and then I go to use it. I'm like, thing isn't even working.
I just
man.
like the look of cock.
Yeah, you have that look, buddy.
I just like the look of copper pots.
No, I do too. Yeah, actually love copper. I love copper.
But you can't use copper pots on induction.
I don't think they have the iron content.
Why couldn't you? Copper's in everything.
But it's about the ferrous material, so it's
Yeah,
about the
I
iron
don't
content
think you
in
can.
it. So like cast iron is the dream.
Yes.
You put it on a sill mat, like one of those, like the silicone mat, and put it right on, and then like because it doesn't, again, you don't need the contact. So then when I boil stuff over, because I'm a shitty cook, and like it's not burning on
Easy to
instantly,
clean.
it's not scratching your glass top. You can cook through a cookbook or a phone book if anyone has those anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Okay, well, I don't have that.
It's called the future.
So I see that coming. Microwaves are phasing out. Steam ovens
Nobody's
are hot.
doing
No,
microwaves
yeah.
anymore. I have yet to meet
Microwaves.
people. Microwaves are done.
But next is going to be infrared.
infrared.
Infrared cooking will be coming next.
Really?
I super love tech, so I'm always watching.
Is that
what's happening.
radioactive? Because that sounds very radioactive.
I don't know the answer. But
Well, then you're going right back to microwave, right?
That's I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds kind of dangerous.
I
but-
thought it was going to be more. They were going to start designing smaller versions of ovens, like broilers or something.
Oh, that's already happening.
That's
Like, you
all.
can-
Yeah,
yeah.
that and
Yeah.
then I'm also a huge fan of all the espresso and coffee machines,
Oh,
like
yeah.
integrated ones. But then
Yeah.
you tell me the price, and I'm like, no,
Right.
I'm going to go buy a motorcycle instead.
What are the
Yeah.
prices?
It's like $7,000, $5 to $7,000.
You're not going to buy
For
a
those
bike for
built-in,
$7,000.
yeah.
I'm just being a little.
Maybe
come
a
on.
rim.
Listen, I enjoy my latte not as much as you guys enjoy your espresso. I won't even pretend to
me,
be in
not
that
him.
No,
echelon.
not me. Not
But-
me.
We may
But-
look alike, but we're not alike.
Wait a second. I don't think we look alike. You're Portuguese, French. I am Croatian.
I'm glad
But
I'm not
there's
Croatian.
cool stuff coming. Like there's the built-in wine dispensers. There's
Yes.
there's I saw that Miela's got a new like vacuum sealer, so you can do like the sous vide cooking in this thing, but it'll also like vacuum seal your food in the plastic.
Really?
Like really cool stuff is coming.
That's what I'm liking.
What-
And in the
Yeah.
bathroom, hang on. In the bathroom, what are we seeing here? I wish that a lot of the cooler looking towel warmers from Europe
I love them.
would finally take a plane
Yeah,
over here.
yeah.
Instead of the
Not right now, Manny. Airports are closed.
ship it by an airline.
Have you heard about what's happening with boats?
But you know what I mean? Because they have cool ones there.
They do, yeah.
Very
and all the
cool
wall hung
ones.
toilets are like de rigueur. Like
Yes.
we're not there yet. I see things getting smarter in a way that's more usable. Like the bathroom will know that I come in at 7:00 and do this and set the
Yeah,
temperature.
really
and,
cool.
You know, like just making it more and more personal. Where there's been cool stuff, but it hasn't been
Fleshed out.
It hasn't made your life better yet. Just
No.
because it will do things.
It's coming.
Like
it's
we
slowly.
have the Alexas all over our house, but they're not doing a whole lot yet.
Man-
they're learning.
They
We're
always
getting-
talk when you don't even say anything.
Yeah,
Man.
they do.
I know they're weird.
Don't you have like a man one? Hey, Manny, you come to the bathroom?
That's your Alexa. Okay.
Could you imagine that?
I think yours is called Alex.
Oh, Manny, you back again? That Portuguese food's good. Sorry. So what's your MO? Anyone that's used you or like you must be known for something.
Oh, that's a hard one. I think, and this is going to be totally cliche, but it's the client care. The fact that it's not about me. Like I like to get in there. I like to get dirty. I like to be really honest. Like, okay, what is it that you like about this? Why do you want it? Let's make sure, like, is this really where you want to put your money? Is this really what is going to serve you best? And kind of get really, really straight and honest. And I end up being, friends with the clients because we've gotten to a level where we're pretty damn personal with each other.
There's no personal little touch, like a little cherry on the cake. There's got to be something that's you. That's always.
I do so many different types of projects. It's kind of hard to put the same thing in everything. There's probably
Manny just
there's
stared at
probably
me.
like a stylistic balance, like of symmetry that is intrinsically in me. But I always stick a here. No,
Can I ask you something about your schooling?
yeah.
Have you really used what you learned in school
A fair
in
bit.
reality.
Yeah,
So
a lot of it.
The education paid off.
Absolutely.
So, wow.
Oh yeah, they
That's great
kicked
to
our
hear.
asses. Like you didn't sleep for 3 years.
Has any of your clients ever asked you to validate your schooling?
How so?
Have they asked you for your degree, diploma, certificate, whatever? Have they ever asked you for any of that?
They've not asked me for proof. Like they'll ask me, did you take this in school? How long have you been doing this? Because I started right out of school, so you look like you're 19 and know nothing and trying to spend lots of people's money.
But now you've got 15 years of experience.
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, it gets you in. The knowledge base that I got from that was important to be cognizant of the rules, and then I can be cognizant of when I want to break them. It's a good basis.
So I have homeowners always ask me, how do you tell a bad contractor from a good contractor? Our ongoing joke is what kind of tools you have. I always say, if you see Ryobi or Mastercraft, run. What are the expectations of a designer? Should they have rendered drawings? Should they be doing all the footwork and paperwork? And what is it that a designer should always have that a contractor knows he's with a good designer, or a homeowner knows what a good designer is?
You've got to have the contracts and paperwork and be very clear about the scope of what you're going to do. Down to the letter, I'm going to do an electrical plan, and I'm going to do a tile lay. Like I'm going to make it super black and white of what's going to happen and how it's going to happen.
You'll deliver that to every single trade? Plumbing, electrical,
Yeah.
trim, whatever.
so
do you-
fantastic.
carpentry?
If that's what the client and the contractor ask and pay for.
Yeah.
So those are the
there's a
conversations
dollar
we're going to
value.
have. I kind of have different packages. Like there's the initial consultation, there's drawings, and then there's material selections, and then there's project oversight. Like it depends what tier of my time you're wanting. That's what you're going to get.
But there's always going to be a rendered drawing. You
Yeah.
always show some kind of picture or dimensions or something, right?
Yes. Yeah, I always do black and white. I do sometimes do the full color render, but that takes a whole lot more time, and then people have the option to get that or not.
I guarantee you, like if someone says to me, "Oh, this is my design," and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna go with gray," and and then they're not showing me anything.
Oh, no. Like it's all written
That's like
down,
the biggest,
dimensioned.
biggest pet peeve
Yeah.
for contractors, not having any literature of any kind or
And like
pictures.
on centers, not just like here's where the toilet's gonna. No, like center to center. My electrician, like I've been educated along the way what's okay and not, because the trades will not hold back to tell me what's wrong, and I actually prefer that because I want to be better.
Do you feel that too much information can also scare the customer away?
Absolutely.
So I do the same thing too.
Yeah.
I do certain things. I don't put them in the quote because I won't allow the homeowner to take those out, because
Right.
those are things that I demand to be in the project to
Right.
give a warranty or so
Yeah.
on. Have you ever had a call back from a customer saying, "This isn't what I wanted"?
I did. Yeah.
Wow.
How'd you
This
handle that?
isn't the tile I chose. So
This
I went
isn't
and
the
I
tile that you chose.
yeah, it's all done. Like that's not the tile we picked. So I pull up the paper that has her signature on it
With a photograph?
with
or-
the code for the tile, and I bring the board. Here's the code. Here's what you picked. No, I picked a loose tile, and I'm like, I know you're lying because I never work with loose tiles. It's always on a board because loose tiles are a problem when you're working in a shop
Are they
that's
just
got
doing
10.
that to get out of it and change it?
I think that honestly, it was more that you look at so many things that you don't remember everything.
It's a blur to them.
Yeah. So I
Totally.
think like eventually I'm like, this is what we should have went with, and we did, and it's great. I don't know whether she ever really believed it, but I'm like, and I think my boss at the time offered to change it, and I'm like, I know why he did it as the business owner, as a designer, is like, you just hung me out to dry, but okay. She kept it because no one wants their bathroom torn out again.
Some people do.
Some people do actually.
Some people do.
Yeah.
So if you're working with a new contractor, what's the first thing that you want to happen between you guys when you both show up on job site? Never work with each other. It was first time.
Oh, we're going to have coffee way before this. Oh, we're not meeting at the job site in front of the customer. That's not okay. We need to be a united front going in. We've already had coffee. We've already had to, feel each other out. We've already had a half-hour conversation about this client, and we have a plan of what we're going to do.
Did we cover everything? You got any more questions?
Well, we'll have to bring her back for some more.
Yeah. Do a
Because
part
we haven't
tour?
gone into basements, we haven't gone into closets, we
Oh my
haven't
God,
gone
there's
into
so much.
laundry rooms.
There's so much.
I want to talk about laundry rooms, like I really did, but I'm hoping that we could bring you back again and talk
Absolutely.
about it. Because I think laundry rooms are really changing in houses
Absolutely.
now.
Yep. Yep.
They've gone from basements to main floors
Yep.
to now, right beside the bedroom, in the washroom.
Well, and the coffee centers we're putting in the master bedrooms, like there's some cool shit
Oh
happening.
my God, that'd be so nice.
Yeah.
Manny, you coming for your coffee? Oh, you're back again.
Yeah, I don't think Amazon's buying your version of Alexa, man. Jackie Schagen?
Yeah.
And so we can find you again. Where is it, the web address?
It's JackieSchagenDesign.ca.
And that's Schagen spelled SCHAGEN.
Yes.
.ca, and the handle is Jackie Schagen Design on Instagram. So check it out. You're on Facebook as well, too.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing.
I'm pretty sure I have a Twitter, but I don't think I've opened it in 4 years.
I'm back on Twitter now. I'm enjoying Twitter these days, so it's kind of cool.
Cool.
If anybody wants to contact you, you mostly working in the...
I work in like the East GTA, like anything east of the DVP, but I'll go anywhere.
Perfect. You came here to us.
Right?
This is great. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, Jackie. We
Thanks,
really
guys. It was
appreciate
great.
it. A lot of valuable information, a few jokes.
Yeah, a few. I'm shagging, baby.
I think, thank you very much. Really appreciate you joining us on the show. And I think, Carlito, get us out of here. Thank you again, Jackie. Really appreciate you shedding some light, and hopefully the contractors can listen to what you had to say and absorb it too. So, thank you all the followers. Thank you to all the followers.
Oh, by the way, if you have any comments, please call Manny.
No. If there's any negative things you want to say about anybody that was on the show, send your emails to Carlito if you could find an email for him, because I still have yet to find one.
Hey, don't get so personal.
Outta
Manny, are
here.
you back again? 416, Manny. Manny, you're back again.